In 2016, the government decided that IQAC needs to be institutionalized. That means IQAC now is no longer any other committee. We have so many committees in the college. There is an admission committee, there is an examination committee. There are several committees which are all important. But what changed was that IQAC was institutionalized. I'm using that word very carefully. That is the word by NAC. Until that time, IQAC did not have any authorities. IQAC had to depend on the principal. And now, the principal is the chairperson of IQAC. And the IQAC coordinator plays a very big role. And when this institutionalization took place, IQAC got its place into some very important committees. IQAC became the body which will be the coordinator of IQAC will be representing the apex bodies of the committees. For example, in Maharashtra, there happens to be a committee called as College Development Committee, CDC. As per the University Act now, IQAC coordinator will be a direct entry, will have a direct entry into CDC. You no longer have to go through elections, you are directly appointed. So far as you are the coordinator of IQAC, you are the member of College Development Committee. This College Development Committee is named variously in various areas. Second part, if the teacher is to go for CAS, IQAC needs to endorse it. And IQAC became an endorsing authority. What the teacher has written is right. I have checked it, is what IQAC says. With this, IQAC got the right to take care of documentation. With this, IQAC got the rights to take care of academics and administration. With respect to quality. And this changed the face of IQAC. It changed from IQAC as one of the committees to IQAC as the committee. And therefore, IQAC became an important committee. And the word that has been used over here is called as IQAC is institutionalized. Now, all this time I'm trying to tell you IQAC became very important, IQAC became very important, IQAC became very important. But then what is the role of a teacher in IQSC is not what I'm trying to tell you currently. I'm only trying to tell you IQSC, what IQSC is doing. In the current presentation, we are going to see both the sides. What IQSC is supposed to do and what teacher is supposed to do in that particular process. So we'll start with this presentation and we'll be talking both the sides of IQSC, the teacher side and the IQSC side also. Well, institutionalization of IQSC and role of teachers is what is the topic today. What does the word institutionalization mean? Let's try to know this first. The word institutionalization means just one. The word institutionalization means the process of embedding some concept. For example, a belief, a norm, a social role, a particular value, or a mode of behavior within an organization, in a social system, or in society as a whole. Marriage is an institution, that's what we keep on saying. So it's an institutionalized process. Family is an institution which is recognized by law. Institutionalization essentially goes with recognition by law. And therefore, institutionalization plays an important role. Now, when we are talking about this institutionalization, we are taking 2 minutes for IQSC and then we are going to go. IQSC is endorsed by NAC. IQSC is NAC of the college. NAC has created this body called IQSC. It is NAC who has said that there has to be a NAC in every college. But NAC cannot be in every college. Just as God cannot be everywhere, therefore He created parents. In the same way, NAC cannot be everywhere and therefore NAC created IQSC. So when NAC is not there, IQSC is there. So NAC endorsed it. And the endorsement came as date of establishment has to be written down in every report. When is your IQSC established? What does that mean? Because it is established, it has to continue. It is an authorized body. With all other committees, we never say it was established on so and so date. With IQSC, we say it is established on so and so date. In your college, Dr. Anupama is the IQSC coordinator. She is an appointed member. This appointment is important. AQRs have to be prepared by IQSC. Authorization of CAS is to be done by IQSC. Just as there is a principal signature, there also happens to be an IQSC signature. IQSC comes into decision-making bodies. IQSC has the authority of documentation. And by institutionalizing IQSC, the authority is accepted. The authority is accepted. Therefore, IQSC tends to become a very important body. Now, why IQSC? We are spending a little time on IQSC because unless we talk about IQSC, we cannot come to the role of teachers in IQSC. You're able to see two pictures over here. Both of them have a veil. Both the ladies are beautiful. No doubt about it. But in one case, the veil is promoting transparency. It is adding to the beauty of the lady, but at the same time, it is also promoting the transparency. The person who's wearing the veil is able to see the other side. And the other side is also able to see the one who's wearing the veil. In the other picture, you are able to see there is a veil, pallo, on the head. But it is not promoting transparency. You cannot see the face. You are actually hiding the face. So IQAC promotes transparency. Objective of IQAC is to create transparency and not to hide anything. And if there is no hiding to come, it means that teachers need to play an active role in IQAC. Now, who can be a member? Who can be a member of IQAC? Take it from me. Everybody is a member of IQAC. Every teacher is a member of IQAC. But because all of them cannot be incorporated as members in a team, therefore some have been selected. Tell me if there is any teacher who says that. I'm repeating, tell me if there is any teacher here sitting over here who says that my tomorrow's lecture need not be as beautiful as it was today. Each teacher will say, what I have taught today, tomorrow while teaching, it should be much more transparent, much more clearer, much more specific with respect to components, with respect to its clarity. It means you are promoting what? Quality. Quality is everybody's business. And therefore, the role of teachers is very important in IQAC. I'm showing you two pictures. If NAC is the mobile, IQAC is the app. I'm repeating, if NAC is the mobile, IQAC is the app. If you want to go to NAC, you cannot go directly, you have to go through the app. In the same way, if you want to go for NAC, you need IQAC, and therefore IQAC is important. And now NAC is everybody's business, and therefore IQAC has to be everybody's business. IQAC is the push button for NAC. Now, what does IQAC do? And what do teachers do? IQAC is internal quality assurance system. It means quality at every step and at every time. How did this begin? Initially, it began with quality control. The BSc students or the bachelor students who are going to pass out, they should know how to write a resume. So we are teaching them a resume. Quality control. They are going to go out, resume लिखने आना चाहिए. They should know how to write a resume. We have taught them how to write. Whether they have the skills, they don't have the skills is not an issue. They know how to write down. They will get a job and the story is over. Whether he is good or not good, it makes no difference. But then slowly, if the student is to get employed, the student needs to have some soft skills. That comes out as quality assurance. Now, he has soft skills. He knows how to write down a resume. He knows how to talk out, and therefore there is a better chance that he will be getting absorbed into jobs. Quality assurance. But NAC is expecting quality systems. The student has come in, he has been analyzed. His characteristics have come on the paper. He has been treated accordingly. He has been given the necessary courses. He has been given the necessary skills. He has been given soft skills also. He is market ready, and now you are sending him into the market. That is a quality system. That is the job of internal quality assurance system, and here IQAC and its 4, 5, 10 members cannot do it. The entire teaching team has to work it out. And therefore, quality plays a very important role, and you cannot be without the teachers. Now, what does NAC say? This is the sentence of NAC. Conscious, that is deliberate. Consistent, that is continuous. Catalytic, that is high speed action to improve the academic and administrative performance of the institution. And academic performance of the institution is related to
where are these two?
Only. It is related to teachers only. Furthermore, functioning for quality enhancement by bringing quality culture. This is what IQS is related to. But it is in association with the top region, the first point. The first point says improvement of academic and administrative performance. And who can improvise that? The teachers can do that. What can IQAC do? IQAC can give guidelines so that quality can enhance. So in other words, IQAC and the teaching fraternity go hand in hand. IQAC is not different from teachers. IQAC is teachers. IQAC is teachers plus. But the biggest role is that of teachers. What does IQAC do? IQAC takes initiatives. What do teachers do? Teachers take initiatives. The teacher takes and conducts an activity for a student. It is taking an initiative. So all the initiatives that are taken by the teachers to improvise the quality of the student is the initiative decided by the IQAC. When you take out tours, it's an initiative. When you go for flipped learning, as somebody made a mention yesterday, You're talking about a quality initiative. When you say every teacher in this institution does research, you're talking about a quality initiative. So teacher is not separated out from the IQAC. Thank you, madam. So teacher is not separated from IQAC. It is not that IQAC will decide and then I will work. It is that I will work and I will also see to it that this is intimated to IQAC. So initiative taking is a big role that a teacher needs to take. What IQAC does is what actually teachers do. So IQAC takes initiatives. College teachers also take initiatives. Now let us look into the role where IQAC works and the role where teachers will come into picture. These are the different audits that IQAC does. NAC is an audit. IQAC takes a lead to see to it that the NAC report is written down by the NAC committee. The criteria heads are formed. There could be a NAC coordinator. All this is going to be taken care by who? By IQAC. Who are all those people? They are teachers. So you cannot separate out a teacher from IQAC. IQAC means teachers. So whether it is accreditation, NAC accreditation, or it is ISO, or their academic audits, or their website audits, or their green audits, or their energy audits, or their fire audits, or their gender audits. These are the audits that NAC recommends. They cannot be done without the help of the teachers. The teachers need to take a lead role that I will take care of this. The rest of it can be managed by the IQAC. If there is a cost, then they will see to it that it gets sanctioned. But taking a lead is called taking an initiative. And that is what IQAC does. And that is what a teacher also does. Now, what is an audit? Let's try to understand this for a minute and then we will go ahead. We need to understand what is an audit. What is an academic audit? An audit is a mechanism whereby the teachers say we are working. We are doing the things with utmost care. But I need to see to it that I need to check myself and someone should check me. What I am doing is right or not. An academic audit is decided by the teachers. An academic audit is decided by the teachers. An academic audit is not a compulsion that comes on your head. There can be many teachers over here who may have crossed 40s. They go to the doctor and say, I wish to have a complete checkup of myself. And the doctor recommends you the necessary checkups. It is not because you are going to have a diabetes, or it is not that because you are going to have, you may be having blood pressure, or you may be having some other health issues. It's not so. It is not so that because you are having health issues, so you are doing the checkup. You are doing the checkup so that you know that you are healthy. And that you need to make some changes in your lifestyle looking at your age. I'm not the same as I was in my 25s or as I was in my 50s. There are issues. I must recognize those issues for which I need to do a checkup. In the same way, it is the teachers who should take an initiative and say, tell to IQAC that we want an academic audit. Why? We don't know whether we are doing things right or wrong. Let a third party come and check us. This is one aspect of the audits. The second aspect of audits is that the teachers need to set up benchmarks. And what is a benchmark? Benchmark is the minimum achievable limit for a particular thing. I'm able to see a very large number of lady teachers over here. Every day they cook. And every day before they cook, they ask everyone in the house, what is the amount of food that you're going to eat? In Maharashtra, it is the chapatis or the pori as it is called. The chapati is called as pori. My better half asks me, Kiti porya khana? That means how many chapatis will you be eating today? I will make a mention too. My son would say it is 2 or 3. So she will set a benchmark that the total number of chapatis to be prepared is 6. Because 3 people are going to have their meals or they are going to carry their tiffins. And she will also instruct the lady who's cooking not to make 7 chapatis. 6 are needed, 6 should be prepared. What is it? It's a benchmark. At the most, 1 extra may be prepared, 7. But not 5 for sure. 5 is unacceptable. 6 is what we want, but maybe 7 sometimes is okay. It's a benchmark. In the same way, the student who has come in, he needs to be checked. What is the quality of the student who has come in? The student may be very beautiful, but that does not mean that the academic quality is something that is to be checked out. Whether the student knows these basics. If she does not know, we need to go in for that question called 2.2.1. How do you assess the learning levels of the students? That is a kind of a quality check that has to be planned out in the beginning of the year, and that needs to be benchmarked. If the student is not up to the mark, he is going to be a slow learner. If the student is up to the mark, he is going to be an advanced learner. If he is a slow learner, he needs to be catered with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. If he is an advanced learner, he needs to be given the opportunities of 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to see to it that these slow learners don't remain slow learners and they slowly start matching up with the advanced learners, and that is with the way we can take the curriculum in a better way. This is what a teacher is going to decide, and this is what is going to be checked up in an academic audit. So a benchmark comes into picture. That's what I mean to say. When we talk of results, a benchmark comes into picture. What is the attainment level that the student has achieved? That attainment level will be decided, will be pre-decided. We talk about percentages. 90% of my students passed. But we need to talk about attainments. Percentage is what a student gets. Attainment is what the teacher has taught and what the student has understood. When attainments are calculated, we come to know what is the average attainment of the class with respect to that particular course. And if this average attainment has been benchmarked, let us say the benchmarking is 60% of attainment. When attainment is calculated, if it is, let us say 50%, that would mean that the student has understood only 50% of what the teacher has taught. It means the student has not understood 50%. When you set a benchmark, at that time it becomes an audit. When you say the students have an attainment of 64%, that would mean that the average understanding of the students is 64%. If it is 64, then in that case, the total result is always going to be 100%. Attainments count. And that is the benchmarking that comes in. These benchmarks are to be set up by the teachers, looking at the batches they get. And it cannot be so that the average attainment has been calculated, it is 52%. And then you say, because the attainment is 52%, now let us set a benchmark of 50%. So sab upar chale gaye. No. The job of the teacher is to promote audits. All over the world, it is the teacher who asks for audit. This is the difference between we and others. The teachers ask that we need to be checked so that we can improve. This is the job of the teachers and the IQAC together. That's what I wanted to tell you. Those audits which we don't do, they have to be done from outside. Now, what should be the mechanism of the audit that is being done by IQAC? There will be a pre-audit, there will be a post-audit, and there will be, of course, an on-site audit. For a pre-audit, you need to get the permission from the management. You need to agree to the audit scopes, objective and style. You will be having a questionnaire. You need to solve that questionnaire. You need to gather information. Then a draft report comes into picture. Then a final report comes into picture. And along with it, some recommendations and corrective action comes into picture. And when the actual audit is taking place, it's a physical audit. So now all the audits that are being conducted, they are online and offline audits. Currently, I'm busy with at least 8 colleges who are doing their audits. So you have a pre-audit meeting, then you have a audit going on when online things are being checked out. And then you have a physical visit where things are actually being checked out and the report is being made. So this is the way an audit goes on, and this audit needs to be asked by a teacher. We take it that IQAC has asked it because the teachers want it. Second part is documentation. This exclusively goes into the areas of the teacher. All academic documentation. It could be a teaching plan. It could be the logs or the diaries that the teacher writes. It could be departmental documentation. It could be committee documentation. It could be council documentation. It could be curricular activities, etc. All this documentation comes from the teacher, for which IQAC helps by creating formats. These formats help the institution to standardize the material data to come in. Then there is a documentation which is called as administrative documentation, which IQAC looks into. And there is a third documentation which is governance and strategic documentation. I wish to add something over here which we need to talk out. Here it plays an important role. Now you will be able to see that, just 1 minute. Yeah. I have drawn a rough pyramid over here. In this pyramid, there is a base, a bottom, and there is an intermediate line. When we are talking about the accuracy, and when we are talking about the teachers simultaneously, we need to understand where these institutions stand. There are 3 terms that I wish to mention. These terms happen to be quality assurance, quality sustenance, and quality enhancement. Quality assurance, please pay attention. What I am saying is very important over here. Quality assurance comes from the top. Quality assurance comes from the top. So the principal, the vice principal, the management, the accuracy coordinators, all these come at the top level management. At the bottom are the teachers, students, stakeholders. Now, quality assurance, I'm repeating, quality assurance comes from the top. Quality assurance comes from the top. Quality sustenance is at every level. And quality enhancement compulsorily is from the bottom to the top. See, if all teachers are going to teach very well, if all teachers are going to perform very well, if all students are made to work fantastically, the result is going to be enhancement in the results, enhancement in the quality. So enhancement always is at the bottom of the pyramid. Enhancement is always at the bottom of the pyramid. That is what actually I want to tell you over here. So enhancement is at the bottom of the pyramid. and quality assurance is at the top of the pyramid. So when policies are being made, they are from top to bottom. When orders are to come, they are from top to bottom. When notices are to come, they are from top to bottom. When policies are to be decided, implemented, they are from top to bottom. Their implementation, to what level it is taking place, whether the teachers are participating actively in implementing the decisions is going to decide the enhancement. If every teacher is going to do research, it would mean that research is enhanced. The top authority has decided that everybody should research. That is what is going to be quality assurance. And everybody is researching and they are producing research papers is quality enhancement. So quality assurance comes from the top to the bottom and quality enhancement comes from the bottom to the top. And therefore, role of teachers plays a very important role. That's actually what I'm trying to tell you over here. That is exactly what I'm trying to tell you, that the role of teachers is important because they are at the bottom of the pyramid. Because they are at the bottom of the pyramid and therefore this role plays an important role. Now, in this aspect, documentation plays an important role. When we are talking about academic documentation, at that time, academic documentation, when we are talking about academic documentation, it is the teachers who do this documentation. And therefore, the role of teacher comes into picture. When we are talking about administrative documentation, it is the non-teaching staff, the administration that is doing the documentation. When we are talking about governance and strategic documentation, it is the assurance mechanism, that is the IQAC, the principal who are doing this documentation. So writing down of policies, writing down of notices, creating some activities, some orders, all that goes with the governance. So documentation also has, the teachers also have their role in documentation, is what I just wanted to tell you. Now, what are the different types of documentation? It's a long list of documents. Lone IQAC cannot do it. The teachers need to participate into these activities. Then and then all this documentation can be done. And therefore, coordinating this documentation comes in with the IQAC. Writing down of policies for good documentation. This goes with the policies. Good planning, sufficient time to give for documentation, continuous small recommendation. This job goes with IQAC. Promoting the good work, excellent communication. For an IQAC coordinator, what is very, very important is big eyes on the head and a sweet sugar-coated tongue. I'm sorry, the spelling of tongue is wrong over here. This is how an IQAC coordinator needs to be. Whatever happens, IQAC coordinator should always say, it is the job of the college. I have to get it done. The person may get angry on me, but it's okay. So big head, big eyes on the head. ताकि ठंडा ठंडा cool रहे, and a sweet sugar coated tongue to see to it that everybody works it out. Now we go to accountability and collaboration. What does IQAC do? IQAC encourages self-evaluation, accountability, autonomy, and innovations. We have seen something about innovation by the teacher in the first session. To collaborate with the stakeholders related in higher education. This is what IQAC does actually. And it is by a variety of ways. Then promoting value framework. NAC has given 5 parameters. Let us see what is the role of a teacher over here. Global competence, quest for excellence, core values, quality, and national development. These are the 5 values that have been actually, and IC2, 6 values that have been promoted by IQAC. Now, how is a teacher promoting these 6 values? Can you help me in the chat box? What do you do to promote these 6 values? Please write down these 6 values on paper, and then you are going to make a mention of it in your chat box as to how do you help it out. Core values. What are the core values? Each teacher can make a mention of core values first. First, tell me about core values. What are the core values that you teachers are imparting to your students? I will like to see what are those values and how do you impart them. Sir Bolkeni, how are you imparting it out? You can have any of these, no? Okay, fine. Shakuntala ji makes a mention using ICT during teaching. Okay, this is through virtual reality. Okay, this is one thing. What more? Yes, please. How are you promoting the core values? I can repeat the core values if you want to. These core values happens to be core values, quality framework, global competence, quest for excellence, ICT, and national development. Let us start one by one. What are the core values that you offer? Point number 1. Please tell me. What are the core values that are being offered by the teachers? Okay, goal setting is one. Fantastic. We are talking about core values. Anupama ji makes a mention as goal setting. Career awareness, absolutely right. Core values. What more? That is what Jivana ji made a mention of. What more are you doing? Whatever it could be. And how are you doing? If you can just mention it in few words, that's great. I'm sure you must be typing out. I wish to know how do you deliver them? You made a mention as problem solving, but how do you deliver it? How do you do that? Time management, Mercy, madam makes a mention. I want it. How do you promote it? Give the method also. That's what is more important. Yes, please. Integrity, again, integrity and responsibility. How do you bring it into the students? Can you make a mention of it? Just don't make a list. Okay, this is where Anupama ji has made a mention. By organizing seminars by the experts, human ethics has been mentioned out. Absolutely right. This is the way I want it. Motivational stimulants. How do you get them? How do you give it? I want the how of it. Values are unlimited. Motivation by organizing mentoring sessions. Fantastic. That is what Vijita madam makes a mention of. Fantastic. What more? I won't read that which has not been explained. Now, if you make a mention as alumni interaction, how, for which students or for what value is that you are making a mention of? Please tell me that. I want your work to represent over here. I trust you. Yes, please. Please. What value are you giving and how are you giving? during class, we also discuss about core values. Okay. Which core values? And how do you discuss it out? How do you correlate it out? Come on, quick. Come on, quick. It could be in the class. It could be outside the class. It could be even through your WhatsApp. It could be through your videos. It could be, how? Yes, please. Something more needs to come in. Is it so that the food today is a little more? जरा ज्यादा खाना हो गया है क्या सैटरडे का? हाथ नहीं हिल रहा है. Curricular and co-curricular activities, absolutely right. Here, Mercy ji has made a mention. Case studies or real life incidents, fantastic. Then you are able to see Ravi Kiran ji makes a mention, making students to participate in social initiatives, absolutely right, fantastic. Soft skills by conducting internship programs, fantastic. So, okay, that is what Vijitama madam makes a mention of. Jayanti ji makes a mention, churning out student leadership skills through case studies, problem solving, fantastic. That is what we want actually. What more?
Yes,
okay, let's go ahead. Can you tell me something about how do you bring in global competence? What do you do so that the students are getting global competence? How do you bring out that global competence? How? Curriculum framework, but how does it work? What is your initiative for making our students global, for giving a global competence? There may not be many examples in an Indian scenario, but I would like to know if you have any. You actually have. I know it. Placement training sessions, fantastic. Yesterday you made a mention about, okay, introducing such kind of courses. You could have named the course. Participating in conferences, absolutely right. Through experiential learning, through practical approach, through research activities, fantastic. Through student exchanges, yes, very true. Through renewable energy resources, how is that so? Through internships, okay, fantastic. Yesterday you made a mention about banking. That's an example over here that can come into picture. You're teaching the student how to do banking, how to take a loan, how to be responsible. That's also a part that can come in. Okay, let's take one more. How is it that you as a teacher are promoting technology? How are you promoting technology in the students? One could be teaching. What other things can be there? How is the teacher promoting technology? Industry academia area interactions. That's right. Fantastic. What more can come in? In the initial phase of my days, I used to call my students and used to say, yes, samajh mein nahi aata how to work this mobile. I recollect out that day when the students said that, just as you have files, you have a file over here also. You can share a file. Think this in this way. And he tried to explain me in very simple words and I understood the mobile. It's an old story. But how are you promoting your students for technology? Motivating students to use virtual labs and softwares. Okay, fantastic. That is what Pilaji makes a mention of. Absolutely right. Great. And yes, guest and extension lectures, hands-on training session, skill-oriented trainings. That's fantastic. So you're able to see. And just one more. Can you give any example of quest for excellence? Digital literacy, absolutely right. Can you give one or two examples for quest for excellence that your students have with names of the students? Because everybody else knows in your group. This is where teachers play a role and they promote IQAC. So let's go ahead with this particular session now. And just 1 minute. Yeah. Thank you so much for participating over here. Now we go with the core values. You are able to see where the teacher is playing a big role. That's what I wanted to make a mention of. Now, core values could be, you have already listed many of them. Quality framework, it can be highest academic standards, which only a teacher can bring in, no one else can bring in. A process to eliminate defects. Vision and mission statement is a part of quality, in the organization. Every teacher must know the vision and mission statement of your organization. If you don't know, it means that you are not committed to the organization. If you haven't prepared that vision and mission statement, if it has come from someone, you can prepare a new one. That can be an initiative of IQAC. Then you are able to see student-centric learning, quality as a tool for transformation. This is what a teacher does. Return on investment approach, value for money approach, giving the best approach. Highest academic standard, as we have already talked about. This is what quality framework can come into picture. When we talk of quality framework, continuous, being accountable, being purposeful, being transformative, being exceptional. This is what quality framework includes. Giving global competencies, collaboration, problem solving, management. All this has come from you only. You have already made a mention of many of this. Role in national development. How does a teacher play a role in national development? Literacy, giving literacy. Employment, promoting students to become employable. Creating better environment, better technologies, sustainable development. Then you are able to see developing and utilizing, reducing the technological divide. Leadership and diversities. In every area, you are able to see a teacher working out. When we talk of ICT, there are a variety of things that you have made a mention of ICT. Self-paced learning, easy feedback mechanism, multiple resources and multiple technology usage, avoiding repetitive works, easy assessments, freedom from repetitive works, use of ICT in content designing, use of mentoring. All these are the things that the teacher is doing and the teacher needs to do. And every of these activities is an IQAC activity. When we say the student can do a self-paced learning, if you're going to prepare your videos and if you're going to put those videos on your institutional YouTube channel, it is self-paced learning. You need 30 lectures. You have made 30 lectures of 10 minutes each. At the most 10 minutes. What you teach in 50 minutes can be done in 10 minutes on a video. That may help the student to learn whenever and wherever she is. It is self-paced learning. So maybe she is sick, she is not able to attend the lecture. Uski galti nahi hai. It's not her fault that she could not come in the classroom. A self-paced learning, the video can help her. After doing the lecture, after going for a lecture, you can give a link. How was today's lecture? A feedback. Do you know the story of feedback? Let me tell you something very important that I think so I must share with you. How feedbacks play an important role. I don't remember that pizza company, but it is there in India. And they started their pizzas and they asked for feedbacks. And those feedbacks were miserable, horrible, dangerous. Your pizza bases are useless. The pizza crust is very hard. The crust is very thin. There is no cheese on it. The vegetables you use are not of good quality. And the ratings of pizza started falling down. It started affecting the stocks also. The owners could have been very honest. They could have closed the company. Or they could have gone to some, gone to some experts, taken their advices and gone ahead. I'm talking about how feedbacks play an important role. One of the pizza owners was a teacher at some time in the life. He said, let us work it out on our own. They took all the negative, majority of them were negative feedbacks. They took all the Domino's is the one that I'm talking about. They took all the negative feedbacks. They analyzed the feedbacks. How many of them say that the material is bad? How many of them say that the crust is not good? How many of them say that the pizza base is not good? Furthermore, they worked out on those problems. And the last part of the story was, those who gave the feedbacks, the pizzas went back to them. Or they were invited. For example, there were some critics who constantly used to criticize the pizzas. So they invited the critics. They gave the new pizzas, the new tastes. And then they took the feedbacks again. They worked very hard. How feedbacks play an important role and how a teacher can play an important role is what actually I'm trying to tell you. The story changed. The sales increased. And so did the stocks. After that, the stock shares of this particular pizza never fell down. Primarily because they worked hard on the feedbacks.
మీ పని వాళ్ళు పిల్లలతో సమానం వాళ్ళంతా మీ మాట వినాలంటే మీకు భయపడేలా తల వంచి మీరు చెప్పిన పని చేసేలా ఉండాలి అంటే మీరు మీ పంతులు గారిలా ముందాక దర్జాగా కాస్త తేడా కాస్త ఎత్తులో ఉండాలి. అప్పుడే వాళ్ళు మిమ్మల్ని గౌరవిస్తారు.
Thank you so much, Vijita ji. Now, the feedbacks play such an important role. The feedbacks are not to be taken as bad words. We must keep on constantly taking feedback of our sessions, of our lectures. The day the first lecture took place, I had called Madam. And I had asked her whether the session was good. When the second session took place, I had called the principal madam to ask whether you are happy with what I am delivering. Every time after the session gets over, I ask you whether it is good. And if it is not good, please tell me so that I can improvise on it. So feedbacks play a very important role. And the role of the teacher happens to be to change his or her own attitude, to take feedbacks in a very positive manner. What do you do when your child says that, Papa, you are, or Mama, you are horrible in mobiles? You don't know how to type the message well. There can be two answers. I am like that only. If you are saying that, it means that you're telling your student, your child, that you're an adamant mother. But normally mothers don't do that. They will listen to her, to the child, and then one fine day they will call the child. Please tell me how to do this. You said this is the case. How to manage it out? Please tell me. And then the child tells you do this way, and you can work with the mobile in this way, and this can be very good. So you are able to see, in this particular case, you are able to see that you are taking a feedback from your own child. What is the harm in taking a feedback from your student? And any bad feedback should be worked out first. There will always be some people who will be giving you a bad feedback. They are our teachers. Otherwise, who can teach a teacher? And therefore, for quality enhancement, teacher plays a big role. This is what I wanted to make a mention of. And feedbacks count, and therefore the story of pizza has come into picture. Feedbacks play a very important role. Multiple sources, multiple technologies should be used. Very often we get frustrated when assessments have to be done. Create a mechanism. There are softwares by which you can get your assessments done. And you can avoid repetitive work. Okay, use of ICT in course content design. Use of ICT in mentoring. You can use ICT at so many places. When NAC asks you, how do you use ICT? In 2.3.1, now it's an hybridized question. Oh, for experiential, for what do you say, participative and problem solving, along with ICT. When they modified this, they have modified this question. At that time, you can always tell we promote self-paced learning. We promote an easy feedback mechanism. We promote multiple sources and technology use. We see to it that the assessments are no longer boring. We see to it that ICT content designing is being done. ICT is used in mentoring also. Things will change for you. Quest for excellence that we have talked about. The very important aspect that comes in is the next aspect that IQAC takes care of is about policies. IQAC needs to create good policies. So it is at the top of the pyramid. ICT needs to work out the processes. And furthermore, when the policies are prepared, the SOPs are going to be prepared. Those SOPs are to be implemented by the teachers. So SOPs should be prepared by the teachers and policies should be prepared by the IQAC. So when an admission policy is being framed by the admission committee, there will be some who are going to create a admission SOP. What does that policy make a mention? Admission to every deserving student. Admission to the Divyangas, admission to take care of the diversity, admission to take care of so and so, so and so, so and so. ये आ गई policy. How to implement that policy, the implementation of policies through an SOP. When the student comes, give him a form, or it can be an electronic form now. The student will fill up the details. The student will apply all his or her mark lists. The student will be sending it. Then it will be approved. Then you will pay the fees. So you are able to see this is an SOP. So policies can be made by IQAC, but processes will go from the teachers. And the SOPs will go from the teachers. To find out where the mistake is so that we can go towards benchmarking. When we are talking about benchmarking, we need to see to it that the benchmarking always has to be very ethical. I am saying our result is 100%. And then I am saying we don't mind our students copying. चलेगा कॉपी किया तो रिजल्ट तो 100% आ रहा है ना. Your benchmarking is not ethical. For the benchmarking to be ethical, it must be done ethically. So ethics play a very important role. Ethics play a very big role in benchmarking. Any benchmarking has to be ethical. Any benchmarking should go with reliability. Any benchmarking should go with morality. Any benchmarking should go with responsibility. Any benchmarking should go with trust, with behavior, with principles, with relationships, and with choices. And all this comes with the teachers. It's not just a policy of benchmarking. It is the enhancement by the teachers. So ethicality and benchmarking comes with respect to vision, mission, integrated governance, division of work, compliance of work, ethics, core values, demonstration of leadership, code of conduct, accountability, openness to talk, measuring the performance and results. All this is going with IQAC. Updating the policies, comprehensive training, audits and compliances, plagiarism checks. This all goes with IQAC. But following this goes with the teachers. And therefore, IQAC plays a very important role, which goes only with the teachers. Now, how should benchmarking be done? Benchmarking should be intentional. Benchmarking should be planned and action-oriented. It should be results in change to adapt to improvements, ongoing and continuous. It must commit adequate time and resources to plan and execute. It must involve the right people, select the good benchmarking partners. It should not limit out to organizations that consider to be superior or those who look to be similar. It must be related to collection of data and its analysis. It must be with an open mind. And when benchmarking is done by IQAC, teachers should be there. Benchmarking हरदम थोड़ा ऊपर ही रहेगा. If this year the benchmarking was 50%, next year it would be 56%. If you have achieved 56%, next year it will be 60%. So benchmarking is a continuous process that you are able to see over here. Technological solutions. We need to go with the technology, and teachers need to contribute in participating with technology. There is something more. The teacher needs to have a constructivist approach. इसका मतलब क्या? See, what kind of learners do we have? We have adult learners. We have adult learners. We do not have children. All our students are 18 and above. So they come with their experiences. They have some experience. You cannot afford to ignore their experiences. And therefore, we need to go for different teaching methods. If you recollect on day one, it is quite possible somebody is good at ears, somebody is good at eyes, somebody is good in speech. So the way they are good at is the way they are going to learn through. So learning, teaching methods are going to change. And our teaching must reflect with their experiences. Otherwise, students will not come in the class. Very often, when I talk to North India, they have a common problem that students don't sit in the classes. It is primarily because the teacher does not try different teaching methodologies. How is it that the student is going to learn? You as a mother, if your child is not going to eat a chapati, I remember my wife practicing this in a different way. The child did not eat chapatis. Now, how to do? What to do? She started preparing parathas. The child does not eat chapati, the child does not eat a vegetable. You prepare a paratha, give it with cheese, give it with dahi. Today, it is red colored paratha with beetroot. Tomorrow, it is green colored paratha with palak. What is being achieved is what I want to achieve is being achieved out over here. And that is the sole objective that you are able to see when we talk of a constructivist approach. The teacher needs training because the student has some experiences. And therefore, new methods of teaching need to come in picture. Here only teachers can work out. So a teacher is a continuously learning community. If you are not learning every day, you are not a teacher. Unless you learn every day, you are not a teacher. Unless you think every day, you are not a teacher. Unless you see to it that the last student, not in terms of bench, the last academically weak student understands your concept, you are not a good teacher. The constructivist approach makes a mention saying that the teacher needs training because the student has experiences and therefore new teaching methods play an important role. How is this constructivist approach going to work? Promoting new teaching methodologies, updating the teachers through FDPs, training, lectures, exchange programs, research programs, innovations in teaching and learning. This is where IQC can come into picture. This is where the teacher will come into picture. Feedbacks from the students on teaching and learning. Yesterday, I talked about resource generation in the libraries by the teachers. That is new learning. This is from the teachers, focusing the delivery mechanism of the teachers. How do you teach? If you tell a teacher, if a student tells a teacher, no, you did not teach well, the teacher gets angry. The teacher says, तेरे को समझता है कि मेरे को समझता है? Who understands better, you or I? I have done my PhD. The student says, I did not understand. If you keep on shouting, he does not come to you again. The story is over. Unless the teacher, that is where quality is going to enhance. Unless the teacher focuses on the delivery mechanism of delivery mechanism while teaching, things are not going to change. Do you write your lectures? While writing down the lectures, do you see to it that what is the example that you're going to give over there? Do you try to find out some stories and contemporary things over there? If you're doing that, the student is going to sit in the class. Or the student may sit in the class, but he is not with you. It's an insult to us. Promoting camps for creating new questions, again teacher comes into picture. Promoting learner-centric environments, again a teacher comes into picture. Creating creative situations for teachers to focus on teaching and learning. This is what an IQAC can do. This is not told by a NAC. This is what I feel is important. If we don't have a constructivist approach, our student will suffer. This is something that you are able to see. It is like that of an honeybee who is going to take from the flower, or is he going to give to the flower? We think so that the honeybee has come to take nectar from the flowers, has come to take pollen grains from the flowers. But the total survival of the plant is based on the honeybee coming on the the total survival of the teacher is going to be on the total survival of the plant is going to be on the honeybee visiting. If the honeybee does not pick up a pollen grain from one flower and go to the other flower, the seeds are not going to come into picture. So whether honeybee is giving or taking, in the same way, whether the teacher is giving or the teacher is learning from the student also, and whether they are benefiting from each other. If that is taking place, then that's a constructivist approach. I have made a mention of feedbacks. Feedbacks play a very important role. And teachers cannot avoid feedbacks. And feedbacks can come in a variety of ways. It could just be a response. You have asked a question and the students have replied. It could be an opinion asked to a student. It could be a survey. It could be a comment. It could be a rating. It could be a result. It could be an advice. It could be an idea. All these are the different forms of feedback which we need to try. Almost all of us must have traveled by flights. When we use the washroom over there and we come out over there, there is a rating in terms of smileys. Right from a frown to a big smile. The minute you click it out, it results out over there. The minute you start finding frowns, immediately somebody comes and cleans out the toilet. What is this? This is a feedback mechanism. So you are able to see so many ways by which we can take feedbacks. These are some of the functions of IQAC: creating learner environments, benchmarking, feedbacks, documentation, MIS, NAC reports. Okay, then you are able to see IQAC working, understanding the college. It is a suggestive body to the principal and management. It ensures internalization of quality culture. It also does documentation, AQR reports. It focuses on teaching learning. And then, because this presentation goes with IQAC, also IQAC does not conduct events. IQAC does not govern the organization, keeping principal management aside. IQAC does not collect funds. IQAC does not conduct exams. IQAC does not prepare college magazines. IQAC is the think tank of the organization to make the organization a better place. Teachers are a are the workforce of IQAC to see to it that the organization succeeds. And therefore, we need to see to it that the teachers contribute equally to the IQAC. And that is where I think so. I should say thank you for this particular kind of presentation. These are exactly the works that a teacher has to do and that an IQAC has to do. So your questions are welcome. Your doubts are welcome. And your feedbacks are also welcome. Today is the last session. So I'd like to hear through your feedbacks. And on the 3 days, and also in case you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'd like to hear from you. Please feel free to talk.
Dear faculty members, anybody wants to talk with sir?
Please, we'd love to.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
So this is Dr. Renuka Sagar, Director, Professor in Department of Business Management. Firstly, I would like to say, sir, your session was excellent. Today's session was an eye-opening session for all the faculty members. It was so wonderfully presented that each and every word was very important for all of us to understand the role of a teacher in seeing that the IQAC is doing the job perfectly 100% well. My question is about two things, sir. Generally, these days, the problem is, I don't say it's a problem. I say that students have a different objective when they join the college. As a teacher, we've been told when we have, we attend the sessions like this that, we have to think about the slow learners, fast learners. We have to think about, using different types of teaching methodologies where we have to see that the student is receiving 100%.
Agree.
So many things we have to do. We have to, as a faculty, we have to keep on changing the style of teaching, the style of presentation. We are trying to see that end of the day, when the student is going out, she's made very happy, comfortable, and we're trying to do all that thing, right? But my observation is that the student starts liking the faculty only when the faculty is trying to stick on to the syllabus 100%. A student does not want anything else apart from, unit 1 mein ye cover kare, isme everything perfectly done, to unit 5. So they have some calculative mechanism that faculty is being graded based on that entire syllabus done, notes are given, everything they have in hand, including the important questions. They feel that, a faculty is excellent. When a faculty is trying to try out all this tools, in terms of becoming a very good, excellent teacher, the students are not liking. So this is one question, sir. Like, the point is that.
Let me first answer your question, then I'll take the second one.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Right, sir.
One thing, let me be very honest. We are not born to spoon feed. Number one. We are not supposed to complete 100% of the teaching syllabus. We are not here to make their lives simple. We are here to give them challenges so that they develop themselves to be better for the future. So being a popular teacher and being a good teacher are two different things. You will not give them content. You will develop a content. You may keep it on the LMS. But when you have created that content, you will see to it that they read the content and your lectures are going to be interactive. Furthermore, our objective is we are saying we want them to be global citizens. If you are going to make them dependents, how will they ever be value-based, ethical, global citizens? They will not. A syllabus needs to be challenging. Even when a paper is being set up, at that time, the paper must be 50% passing for everybody. The remaining 50% should be challenging. You are not here to give marks. They are here to earn the credits. This is a big difference. So what they want is not, they want their life to be easy. They are not supposed, they are not, their life should not be easy. I'm talking only about academics. Kindly don't mistake me elsewhere. They must work. They must earn. I wish to give you one example. I was doing my MSc. Not a single practical was conducted by the teacher. Every practical was conducted by the student, was practiced by the student. The teacher used to say, in the next week, you have this practical. You will prepare for the practical. You will tell what are the requirements. They had all those requirements. They were ready also. You have all those requirements. You will be coming up with the procedure. You will be coming up with the process. You will be coming up with the system. You will be putting it on the paper. We will check it out for you. You will do it. You will get the results. If you fail, why did you fail is what you will be telling. Life was bad. From 86% of marks, in the first sem, I came to 56% of marks. I was weeping like cats and dogs. Why did I join this program? But today, I feel that that was the right method that my teachers did. I'm not stuck up anywhere in these 30 years of my life. They taught me how to catch a fish. Our job is to teach them how to catch a fish and not to provide a fish every day. Renukaji, I have tried to answer your question. Now your next question.
Sir, that is what I wanted the answer from you. It is an excellent way of taking up things, because what you felt as a student, the student should feel the same. Now, the second question is that, sir, now when we talk about the feedback, now the same students will give the feedback, whatever is the strength, right? Now, what would happen is that the feedback would be not in the favor. We're just talking about not one particular faculty. We are talking about many things that the feedback would not be in the favor. So now the question here is that just because the feedback is not good, but the faculty has done excellently when it comes to her role, not giving the spoon feeding to the student, trying to give a different approach to the style of teaching. Now, how this feedback should be taken up now? Now, how it has to be taken up by the management or by the IQAC, or for that matter, for any such reason, so then how are you going to take this? That is the second question. And how does the feedback, I mean to say, a feedback received by the college, how it should be handled on one-on-one if such kind of things happen in an institution? I'm not talking about Reddy Women's College, sir. This is a very, very generalized question.
Your question is a very good question. If this is the feedback, it means that the system of the institution needs to change. Unless the system is the system that needs to change. The student will remember the teacher only on the basis of experiences that the student has got from the institution and from the teacher. And if you're saying that giving ready-made material, these are not the experiences that you're offering, because there is no learning. So the institution, whichever it is, it needs to think about its learning mechanisms, its teaching mechanisms, and it needs to modify them if you want your students to be global. If you want them to be global. I just wish to share one more experience. It keeps on coming up with my parenting. I don't want to glorify my parents. I was in a military school. My papa was the vice principal over there. We had a quarter at Nasik, at Muslim military school. My mother was a teacher in some other school. She never washed my clothes. From the day I remember, maybe 5th standard onwards, she never washed my clothes. We never had that time there was nothing like a washing machine. I'm talking 50 years ago. She never washed my utensils. Furthermore, she always gave me a word that before you go to sleep, you have to see to it that the kitchen platform is clean. Think of a child who's in the 6th standard, 7th standard. He won't like these things. Not a single, there was a free facility of getting the clothes pressed, getting the clothes washed, because it was a military school. My mother never gave my clothes for washing. I had to wash my clothes. I had to polish my shoes. We had an army military belt. I had to polish that belt. We had a good number of types of shoes, canvas shoes and leather shoes and whatnot, rainy shoes. And they need to be maintained well. And all that had to be done by me only, my work. She did not give her work to me. And then when I came for a hostel life, it was me, I never faced any problem. What I'm trying to tell you is that our mechanisms need to be so. We need to make our children independent. And if we are not practicing these mechanisms, we are failing. Our students will fail. They will never remember us as good teachers. For quite some time, not now, we had an association with Rotary Club of Pune, Sinhagad Road, Pune. We used to take all these 300 students of science to Sinhagad. They had to go by bus. It is around 25 kilometers away from the city. They had to go by bus. They had to spend their bus fare, 10 rupees, 15 rupees. They had to climb up that fort, which is quite tall. After going over there, they used to be put into groups, and they had to collect plastic and wine bottles, which used to keep on lying on over there. They had to separate it out. They had to collect it. A truck used to come over there. We used to dump it out. And as against, they used to be given food by the Rotary Club. Students remember that. How we used to go over there, Nasser. How we used to collect, Nasser. Many of them have their children. They tell this to their children. Students remember experiences. See to it that we give them the best of the experiences that makes them successful to live their life very happily. And therefore, their life is not supposed to be cheese. They must have problems. Otherwise, they will not get attracted to learning. What you are giving is available on internet, is available as a course material. If you are giving them course material, the classrooms need to be extremely interactive. If you are giving them internships, they must go and work out over there. They must write a report telling what is it that they have learned. Life is not supposed. I wish to share something. Kindly don't be mistaken over here and kindly don't take it in any other way. I'm spending a few minutes and please don't take it in any other way. Because we are talking about our religion. Now, do you know the Brahmins in the Vedic period? I'm not talking about the post-Vedic period. This was some 4,000 years ago. They were not supposed to collect anything. The role of the Brahmins in the community was to go and see the community every day. So they had to go and they had to ask for alms. They had to go and collect food. And every time they had to go and collect the food. If you choose to be a Brahmin, you were supposed to do learning. You were supposed to remain in connect with the society. You were not supposed to collect any amount of funds. Now, what was the net result? Because there was no collection of funds, there was no collection of food. The learner, the Brahmin, who's a learning in the learning community, he constantly had to go to the community. So he constantly used to know what are the problems that the community is facing. He had a direct access to go to the king. And he could go to the king and tell what are the problems that the community is facing. The Kshatriya had some other roles to play. He was a farmer and he was supposed to take care of the community because he was in large numbers. The Vaishyas, who had by choice to collect the materials and sell them elsewhere. Now look at their roles. No one's life was easy. But it was a very closely interwoven society. So, Renukaji, when we are talking about learning at that time, the primary job of this so-called Brahmin, the one who is learning is a Brahmin, is to focus on learnings, is to focus on the areas, is to prepare his or her own notes. You may give them material, but for example, I always give rubrics. I tell them that I have taught you, you have got the notes, but my rubric is going to be something like this. The assignment that I am giving you has to be written down in this particular way. If you write it in this way, you get 8 to 10 marks out of 10. If you write it in this way, it is 5 to 6 marks. And below which it is not acceptable. In this case, you are benchmarking out what is expected rather than what you are giving. Once you start doing that, the quality of the student starts changing out. By you giving writing down something, giving him or her something, she reading it out, she mugging it out, she writing down in a beautiful handwriting. Do you think so she is a learned individual now?
So your answer was so excellent. You presented it so nicely in a story form. If you permit, I would like to ask one last question.
All your
Your
questions will be answered.
sir,
If I know the answer.
yeah. Sir, one is that your style of taking up things and explaining to the faculty was really excellent using storytelling method. Now, sir, if I have to talk about, a word called, like, see, if I have to talk about self-assessment, if I have to do self-assessment about me, should I think as a teacher? This is a very general question. Should I think as a teacher that
No, as an auditor.
so should I think as a teacher, I'm going to say whatever it is, sir, should that person think that students reciprocating to the faculty in a very positive way, coming and talking is the best result the faculty should think, or students, students, I mean to say students having some thing in the mind, fingers crossed, and saying that no, I have to stay away from this faculty because she talks about all this. Is what is correct? I mean to say, we have to make ourselves happy, or we have to make the college happy, or we have to make the students happy. What is it we are supposed
The
to do?
student must come to you.
Yeah.
The student must be, you should be, I'm saying you, I mean to say a teacher should be
Teacher. Yeah.
a queen around which the workers are there.
The
You
bees
should
are
be,
supposed to.
the teacher should be like a hive
Okay.
around which the students are going to be around. They must be there. And trust me, and it must be each teacher's experience over here.
Then, sir, we should prepare for each style of teaching. The teacher is supposed to give the student, the batch of students, a rubric mechanism that's saying that the day one when the teacher is going to the class, she has to tell that if you do like this for every evaluation or every step of evaluation, the faculty is supposed to give the student a rubric in terms of, if you want to do like this, you'll get a score like this. If you do, you won't get it. So in the process, what happened, the student is supposed to, as you told, it's a learning process. For the one who's going to go and ask something, going to each and every person, just to ask for alms. So definitely it's a learning process, you said. So once we give the student the rubric mechanism that my style of this would be this, or this particular mechanism is going to be this, so obviously the student would know that if I want 8 to 10 marks, then I have to do like this. If I want 2 marks, then I will do like this.
Right.
So don't you think, sir, that we as a teachers are supposed to tell them in the introductory class or an induction program that this is going to be the style of the college and you have to learn and learn and learn till you go out of this college?
Right. That's the way it is.
Yeah. So,
I'll just give you one example over here.
Yeah.
There are some functions where you have a dress code, isn't it? Sometimes you have a program where there will be some dress codes. Do you follow it or you don't go? You go without those dress codes. If you want to go there, you need to have a dress code. Immaterial whether you're a chief guest for that program or you're not a chief guest for that program, or you're an ordinary person over there. If you're going for a marriage, there is a dress code, unwritten dress code. Nobody goes in a jeans over there. Am I right? A lady if she's to go for a marriage in the family, will she ever go in a jeans dress? She will not. She cannot. There's a dress code. That particular dress code is to be followed. In the same way, if you are in this institution, there is a code which you need to follow. If you don't follow, you're not. It could also be for this event, it would be such. I'll just show you a rubric that I have created. I just found it for you. I don't know if you're able to see. I think so. You should be able to see now over here. In this particular topic, this is a rubric that I have created out. Make it a little smaller so that you can see the entire rubric. It is on animal cell information. The assessment is to be done. So when the animal cell is being taught at that time, what do I expect? I have taught you everything. I expect definition and introduction. I expect important structures, name, details, location, structure, function, name of the discoverer, year of discovery, any special feature mentioned, and so on and so forth. So everywhere, if you are going to write it in this way, you get these marks. If you are going to write it in this way, you get these marks. If you write it in this way, you get these marks. And if it is not up to the mark, I'm not going to give you the marks. So when you have made this very clear, you are on one side promoting the quality. You may have a rubric of this type. You can have rubrics of a variety of kinds. I need a figure. It should be properly correct, labeled. It should have at least 10 labels. I want you to prepare a PPT. I want it to the work quality needs to exceed all expectations. The student will submit a PPT along with his 2 friends. The team is to be told in advance. If you do all this, and if it is up to the mark, then I am going to give you 8 to 10 marks. Or else I am not going to give you any mark. Otherwise, I'll be a very good teacher with you. I'm not your enemy. But when it comes to an assessment, assessment is assessment. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I got the answer.
The institutions cannot grow if you want the students to grow. The life of the student on campus with respect to learning needs to be self-learning. Self-learning, I don't mean to say you're not going to teach them anything. You may give them notes also. In my classes, I give them notes. The note is given in advance. Tomorrow you are going to read the first 5 pages and come. And I am going to discuss on it. What happens initially? They come, they don't come with a note. They haven't read it. Then I will tell who has brought notes. Raise your hands. How many of you read those first 5 pages? 90% have their hands down. Now read. Now explain. And the additional is what is going to be delivered by me to get the bigger picture. Otherwise, they will not get the big picture. They have the notes. They can pass with the notes, but they cannot learn with the notes. They need to get those experiences. They need to share those experiences. They also have works to do, and I am very rigorous in getting those things done. The life of a student is never easy. It is not to be made easy. Otherwise, they don't learn. If you get money every day, you will forget earning money, earning the skill to you will forget the skill to earn money. I think so. I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank
The
you.
way
very
I think so.
No, sir. Thank you very much. It was very wonderful. The way you have answered the question also was really apt. And I'm sure like most of us could have related to it. And thank you, sir, for your wonderful session. It was very, very, very useful to all of us. And I'm sure each and every word would be definitely taken into consideration for us to do our job excellently to coordinate with the IQAC team.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you so much.
Any other question that you have? Anyone else has? Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It is a wonderful session. And the entire staff of the college, they came to know about the roles and responsibilities of the IQAC and why IQAC is doing all these things. And from the beginning, the staff, they are thinking that why IQAC is asking this, why IQAC is doing this, and etc. But you enlightened us, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for your most valuable input and thought-provoking suggestions. In this program, we have learned so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now I invite Ms. Salma Begum, Assistant Professor and Member IQAC, to propose formal vote of thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you,
yes,
sir.
Salma, you're audible.
Good evening to one and all. I, Miss Salma Begum, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and member IQAC, feel immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks for 3-day orientation program on role of a teacher in quality enhancement in higher educational institutions. I express my deep gratitude to our eminent speaker, Mr. Priyush Pahade Manohar, Coordinator IQAC and Head Department of Zoology, H.P. Desai College, Pune, for accepting our invitation and giving generously their time for making this orientation program successful. I express my gratitude to our Secretary HMVS, Professor K. Mutyam Reddy Sir, and Secretary cum Correspondent Professor G. Sudarshan Reddy Sir for their constant support. I extend my thanks to our Principal Dr. J. Achyuta Devi Ma'am, Vice Principal Dr. C. Kavita Ma'am for their continuous support and encouragement in organizing these sessions. I also extend my thanks to all the heads of the departments and faculty for their cooperation and making this program successful. I also thank our coordinator IQAC, Dr. B. Anupama Ma'am, and our team of IQAC for the constant support in planning and execution of this program. I thank you all for being with us in this evening. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
I just wish to add one small thing. IQAC Cluster is an organization, and this organization constantly keeps on conducting programs for the teachers. We support the institutions, we help the teachers. There is a small annual membership fee of ₹600. Along with it, you get your app also, on which you can ask your questions and somebody will be answering it. It's a team of teachers pan-India. There are a good number of activities that we keep on conducting. You can participate in those activities. And you can also join us on our Telegram group. Telegram group is free. There are around 2,800 teachers on that particular group. Almost 3,000 teachers there. You can join that Telegram group also. If you just request for a link, I will give you the link, or I'll send a link to Madam also.
Yes, sir. I'm
So
there,
that-
sir.
You're already there, fine.
Uh,
So those who wish to join, they can
Yeah.
join. And those who take the if you wish to take a membership, you get a lot of added advantages over there. All
okay,
our
sir.
programs become available to you.
Is it individual or the institutional?
A membership is in two ways. If the institution goes for mentoring program, then we provide 10 memberships. If the institute mentoring goes with the college, then in that case.
Mm.
And if the individual wants to take it, it can be at a price of 600 rupees for a year. That is maybe 50 rupees a month. That too, it's because the technology has its own cost. So we have kept it. And we have another 600 or 700 members over there, plus these 2,000-3,000 people over there. So anyway, that was just a brief information that I wanted to tell you. Our website is available, IQAC cluster. You can go on the website, you can see the website, and any help and support you need, we are
Definitely.
available. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can we stop?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir, so much, sir.
Thank you.
Ma'am, we have shared this feedback link in the chat box.
Okay.
Should I announce it or?
Yes, yes. You can announce. Ask them to fill.
Yep. Dear faculty member, the feedbacks for this 3-day orientation program is shared in the chat box. Please fill that feedback. Ma'am, the form will be active till 6 o'clock. Ma'am, is it okay till 6 o'clock? The form I'll be keeping active.
Yes, yes.
Right.
You can.